What's going on, everybody? This is like the second take of doing this, so that's why I was laughing at myself. So obviously, we have a couple things to take care of, right? First of all, the beard is back, as you guys can tell. I know a lot of people on YouTube were pissed off when I shaved my face. Now you can be pissed off because I shaved my head, right? So as a lot of you know, I change up my look a lot. I mean, past like couple years, I've just went from beard and like a full on top mid fade to crop cut, dyeing my hair, growing everything out, and then shaving face, cutting hair again. And I kind of just ran out of things to do and try, right? Like the last thing I did was like paint my nails. And I didn't really want to get like a lot of tattoos or like piercings and stuff like that, right? Because that's like permanent. I want to be able to like maneuver and like change like water, right? I want to be flexible. And if I want to stop doing something, I go in a different direction, I can. And you can't really do that with tattoos or, well, I guess you can't do it with piercings. But yeah, I mean, this is kind of how we just got to the bald head. And I kind of like it. It's very efficient, right? I think bald is sexy too, apparently. It's a nice little look, especially with the beard coming back. So this is not what the video is about though, right? I've been off YouTube for a while. I've obviously been working with barbers inside of Elevated Mentorship and put a lot of my focus just into that. And I think in a lot of other videos, I've expressed that like I will go out of periods of like at least making content weekly for YouTube, and then like I'll just go dark because like this is the main thing. Like this is great to help out other people, and like the reason why I wanted to come back and at least make some more content was I got a lot of feedback from a lot of you who I probably had calls with as well. Have scheduled a call with me, but just talking about more of how like at least the content that I put out and I guess coming up with some solutions to like things that might aid you guys in pushing business forward. And the feedback has been really great off the YouTube, and as well as like the weekly blog posts weekly, because they're not weekly. But so I thought, why not? I have some free time right now. It's December 21st currently. So this content is probably definitely gonna be dropped in January. So by the time you're watching this, it's probably January right now. I didn't want to take the time to just like, I wanted to stockpile a lot of content. It's kind of like getting the first order things out of the way of like where I've been, what I've been doing, as well as why the shaved head and the beard is back. Also too, just a heads up, obviously as you can see, I do wear blue blocker glasses. That's just because I'm around the screen a lot now. But however, because we have a ring light right here, I'm going to be trying to face my body this way and try and talk to you so we don't have this awkward glare in my eyes. So just heads up on that. I will try to stay conscious about that. But what I really wanted to at least make this video on, right? I've talked to a lot of barbers in the past. I don't know how long it's been, maybe September, October, November, December, maybe like 4 or 5 months since I made a YouTube video, right? So I've talked to a lot of barbers in that 5-month span, and of course worked with a lot of barbers inside the Elevated Mentorship program that I'm running. And there seems to be at least like, there's always like these couple core main issues that need to be tweaked up in order to like get progress in business as a barber, right? And there's some core, like really blatantly obvious core issues that go on and why barbers can't grow. So I thought, okay, cool. What is like the main problem? Well, most barbers can't grow their business. Well, why does this happen, right? Why does the problem exist? And I have my notes right here, so I'm going to be looking back and forth. One of the main things I always see pop up is just like too many damn people can't like really stay on one task. Like a lot of people are like so fidgety, and they want to like they can do one thing for like maybe a 2-day span, and they like go off and they'll be undisciplined for, it's just lost after that, right? They can't get progress. And in order to grow a business or do something, you have to be able to like consistently do the same thing and focus on one thing for a very extended period of time, and like have a very high like pain threshold. Like you have to be able to like withstand a lot of pain that comes with, because you're gonna want to come off that one thing. You're gonna want to do something else that's more fun. Yeah, that's correct. That's more fun. I was gonna say funner, but that's not the correct phrase. And that's not gonna, like, if you're always in that mode of like trying to do something that's the comfortable thing, or just at least the thing that is enjoyable. Like sometimes growing a business isn't enjoyable. Like a lot of people think, oh man, I want to grow my business. Like I want to do this. I want to be able to be really, really good and create a lot of income for myself as a barber. And that sounds very fun at the beginning, right? And it always does at the beginning. It sounds like a great idea. It sounds like a great goal. However, when most people go ahead and go through that process, there's like a vetting period, right? All of a sudden, like the barrier for entry deters a lot of people. They're like, fuck that. I don't want to do that pain. Fuck that shit. I'll go back to being okay, right? And it's also, I'll probably do like another video talking about like why it's bad to revert back to being okay. Which a lot of people do, right? You have a goal and you want to go and do it, but we're more focused on how to overcome like this fidgety feeling, like staying on one thing and really hacking this. Because a lot of people, this is like a big issue. Like even with barbers that I work with, like I thought it was going to be the easiest thing. Just like, okay, do these core, like, we have core actions that we must do to grow our business. Of course we have to iterate a lot, but the one of the hardest like barriers to entry at first is just not getting fidgety. You want to go off and do something else, right? Most people will be like, fuck it, TikTok. Fuck it, like I'm gonna go ahead and start a YouTube channel. I'm gonna start a brand. Or I'm gonna do all this other stuff, and they still have yet to make their main thing like number one, right? And unfortunately, like you're always gonna be mediocre if that's like how you attack things, right? Nobody who's ever been great or mastered something has been fidgety. They just honestly they've been you get like you just stick on that one damn thing. You have like this relentless like, fuck that, I don't care what anything else is saying to me, I don't care what else is like looks appealing, I'm gonna stay on this one damn thing. So what does this look like example wise, right? We spent like 6 minutes and 32 seconds just kind of introing and like talking about the main problem. What does this even look like in somebody's business and life so that you can properly dissect? And then we're also gonna get to practical stuff, okay? So, I mean, some examples of this as a barber is like, just doing multiple damn things, right? We talked about before. I've talked about plenty of times on this channel as well, in terms of past content. Like doing forex, trying to start a brand, trying to run with other business opportunities that are lucrative. Yet, they're charging only about 25, 30, hell, maybe even $50 a haircut, and has hit a plateau, right? And in any business, you're going to hit plateaus. That's always going to come, right? But it's how you attack those plateaus, really dissect them and to re-stimulate growth again. Another example is thinking that you need to add on more, and like the more output you'll get. So a lot of people, what they'll do, especially in the barber industry, they'll think, okay, cool. There's a couple of examples of this. So they'll get a clientele, and they'll think, cool, what does my clientele want more of? And I can charge them more, and that will make me more money. So this is where the added services, I guess, idea comes into play. And so they'll start adding on a bunch of bullshit, and they'll start listening to noise of what like their clients will say. And like sooner or later, they'll end up with like 1 million different services, for 1 million different people. And, I guess that works like on the surface level, right? Like logically you would think, wow, yeah, if I add on more, if I have something for each and every single individual, that works. However, when, you get into like the like if you go into P&L statements and go into anything of throughput, inventory, and operational expenses, your inventory costs and probably your operational expenses too will go up, and throughput, which is sales or just basically what you make and generate, doesn't really go up anymore, right? You still hit a threshold, and yet you've increased everything of spending that requires for added services of like what that needs to have, as well as, how to actually either market or generate clientele to then put that inventory into use to then generate you income, right? You've increased those expenses, and yet you really haven't stimulated or increased the overall income to a level where it offsets that after like, you do monthly P&L statements and you kind of like look at everything. You might even lose money. I've seen a lot of people actually lose money from adding on more services because of what they have to buy in order just to serve or offer that service. I've talked to a lot of people like that too. Or because they offer more, they actually lose clientele, which is also very interesting. So that thinking more like will get them more. Basic one, you just can't sit still, right? It's like that fidgety thing, like you always have to be doing multiple things. I think this is where like it really resides in, right? Because myself, I always used to be like this. I could never focus. I could never like stay on one thing. I always had to be like, I just was like, I can't focus. I have to be doing something with my hands and be able to think or do something else. And, I have to always be multitasking. That's how I get in my flow mode, right? However, like when I started like at least studying like, okay, how's the brain, how's it programmed, how's it work in our favor for that way? The neural pathways that are like being connected at that point in time when you start doing those items is like, okay, cool. The brain says I always have to be doing this, right? And the only problem with that is, the brain can't focus on more than one thing to really master that one thing. It can't like do more than one task at a time, right? It's like almost impossible. Like if you are like, it would be a great example. If you're trying to cook dinner and also like clean your house at the same time, like one of the two is going to be like fucked up. Either you're going to fuck up the food or like, something's going to happen where you forget something on like, cleaning the house of some sort. Maybe you leave like the chemicals on something too long and it gets fucked up, right? You just can't like multitask at the same time. It's like, we'll do one thing once and then you can go on to the next thing. And most people, they can't have this type of discipline. They get fidgety and at a lower level of like something like that, you're like, okay, that might be a little bit too obsessive and like control freak. But when we look at it at a higher level, if you are always trying to jump from one thing to the next thing to the next thing, or do multiple things at once, I mean, how the hell are you even gonna like push that your main business, which is, let's say, for barbers or any service provider in that fact, forward? Like for me, an example, when I learned that, I just started cutting everything out, right? Okay, cool. If I only need to focus on these core aspects in my business and this will push it forward, fuck everything else. Like I started cutting out YouTube, obviously. I used to have I tried to start up a product brand too. And like the reason why I say don't do any of these things, because I tried, right? It's not because I just want to be an asshole, but like I've tried these things and it takes up a lot of energy. Now, could I have had a lot of success just doing straight YouTube? Absolutely. Could I have success with just straight product line? Absolutely. But, at first those things don't produce cash flow. Like you have to have some type of cash flow, which is like, where your barbering business comes in. But then that also takes up time to build that up. So it just breaks at the end of the day, right? It's damn near impossible to do both things, or even put enough folks in there to get it off the ground. So, I think a lot of people are like, why the fuck are you always hating on like this stuff? It's because I've tried it before. It's just like, if you want to try it for yourself and want to experiment for yourself, by all means. But this is just what I've learned from at least doing things. Now, checking my notes here because I know I got way off topic of that. It's been a while for a YouTube video, so I need to make sure that I stay on topic, right? Stay on one thing. Yeah, I mean, like what these examples lead to, I mean, you can't really complete anything, right? If you find like yourself, like at least for myself, I started noticing I couldn't complete anything. I couldn't complete like a task or a goal even, right? Like I'm sure a lot of people, I mean, especially with the new year, coming up, or has already happened by the time you're watching this, a lot of people around the new year, they always have like these goals. If you always find yourself never accomplishing those exact goals, if you just go back and dissect why that didn't happen, it's probably because you strayed away from like that main goal and tried to take on something else, or try to do something else. Or when it got painful, or it lost the fun, or like that, the exciting period when you first start anything, you probably just like, fuck that, I'm going off. And I think if you do that, if you have that type of like mentality or like approach, like you're never gonna fucking succeed. Like you can't take anything to peak level, right? You have to be able to withstand at least some pain, whether it be like simply working out, sticking to a diet, building a business, working on a relationship, building a family, whatever that thing is that you do, right? If you don't withstand a pain threshold and like stay in that thing, and just almost, you gotta have some grit, right? You kind of gotta grit your teeth at the damn thing. Anything that you do is gonna apply a little bit more pressure onto you. You kind of gotta grit your teeth and say, no, motherfucker, I'm gonna do this thing, right? I'm gonna stick to this, and I'm not gonna waver. And you have to also have like an actionable items like that you have to complete too, because if not, you're just putting yourself to self-induced pain that leads to no growth. Now, yeah. So, I mean, also too, what this leads to, I mean, like sometimes like a task can take you especially longer to achieve, right? A lot of people like the reason why, like, to build something up, it shouldn't take that long if you just focus on that one thing. For myself, each and every single day, a great example of this, I simply just focus on like one thing. Like today, all I focused on, or all I am going to focus on, it's like 12:25 p.m. right now, is creating YouTube content. Literally, it's gonna make some other videos, make some iterations on that. But that's my sole focus today. I'm not gonna like work on anything else. And like prior to this, like the day before, all I was doing was planning, right? Like in terms of, well, I should go back even further. Like first couple days, like 3 days ago, I just would list problems. That's all I focused on. I just listed the problems. I didn't focus on like building out the content or building out the ideas and like the structure of whatever happened. I just focused on the ideas, right? Because when you get into something, it takes you a while to at least get your brain moving in that direction of like a flow state. But those first couple items are going to be like bad ideas regardless. And the longer that you stay into it, the more problems and the more solutions you're going to come up with. So, I just stay on the damn thing, focus like all day on just running out problems. And then the next day I went ahead and like looked at all those problems, and then started writing up solutions to those problems inside of for content purposes, right? And then today is just recording. And it's very efficient that way because I can get I stay in like that frame of mind, right? Like it's very hard to jump around frame of mind wise if I was like to go, okay, what's a problem? Can't grow. Okay, what's a solution? What's a structure for a video? Okay, this and this, and then record, and that's only one video, right? I actually have 16. In like in a 3-day period, I'll probably like get done with like 16 videos. So, well, I don't know if I'm gonna do all 16 today. I'm only gonna do a couple, because that's gonna be a little weird if I have like the same shirt and same everything. But I have 16 videos done, and all I have to do now is just record them. I don't have to think about them anymore. I just pull up docs and like look at like my notes, and then I kind of go off that of what I've written down. And that's kind of like a very efficient structure versus like spending 16 separate days trying to come up with like each and every single thing, because you're never going to get like anything great. And that's just like an example that I do inside of like my business. Now, I think for barbers, I think like I work with barbers every day. I mean, with barbers, like the biggest thing is like, you first have to clearly identify like what you want, right? And there's gonna be a lot more content. I mean, one of the main problems I see also too is that like a lot of barbers in the industry have an issue or problem with like money, right? They have a bad relationship with money, meaning, and it's not like they take bad care of money, but like money is viewed as like this bad thing, right? If you are, if you charge more, all of a sudden you become a bad person. I mean, you see it in like my comments all day long. You could see it on like literally anybody's comments who charges them out. Somebody's always going to be complaining about like that you charge too much, and that's fine. That's their opinion, right? I'm not saying that's bad, but for barbers, it like to understand like as a business owner, like your like the sole goal of a business, and this is going to be a separate video too. The sole goal of a business is to generate money, right? And that's not a bad thing, right? Because the whole reason, because without money, like the business cannot exist, because you cannot improve product, you cannot put money back into and invest into whether it be hiring out a team, whether it be getting better tools, whether, like I said before, improving your product, and also providing more value to a market, right? So as a barber, like if you can't make money or you can't generate more income overall, you don't have a goal, unfortunately, right? You're almost just like, again, the hamster wheel cycle of just like, I'm just gonna go to work every day, make the income I know, and then go home and like relax, right? A business should be able to provide enough value to the market to push everything forward, right? Because the value it produces will add value to its customers' overall experience and as well as life, and will improve the industry in itself. Now, everything kind of stems back to this money thing. If you can't make money and there is no reward in this system, nobody wants to be involved with it, right? It's just like, what's the fucking point, right? And yet that's like what I think a lot of like at least what I see a lot of barbers doing. They'll hate on a lot of people who are making money and like glorify people who like say money isn't everything. However, the only idea with business is to make money. because then you can't do anything else. And that's not, like I said, it's not a bad thing. It's not this evil thing. I think it is like this depiction that, like, you know, whether it be movies, Hollywood, or just like how a lot of people paint like these evil characters. Like you watch any Hollywood movie too, like, and this is like funny because like I'm going off on different tangents on something on a video that's supposed to be like focused on one damn thing, and yet here I am doing it, right? So if you feel irritated because like, damn bro, just get on with the whole thing, that's exactly my point, right? For like business, focus on one damn thing. Now, what was I saying? I mean, like a lot of people like see or get influenced that like there's a lot of evil characters who have a lot of money, and like there's this heroic character that doesn't give a fuck about money. Yet, you know, when that's a movie, right? When we look at the real world, you know, some of the greatest individuals living right now, at least, that are pushing and improving, I guess, overall life, are some of the wealthiest people, right? Like Bezos, Musk. You know, these guys are actually spearheading a lot of different industries and stimulating growth in, whether you want to say economy in that industry, or even just setting a new standard, which is phenomenal, right? That's almost like inspiring. And yet I think a lot of people, when they look at like Elon or like Bezos, they're like, oh, he's so rich, he should be sharing that money. No, just work for some shit, right? That's his reward. Like, if there wasn't that reward, he wouldn't have progressed and made all these jobs, right? And he wouldn't have wanted to go ahead and push himself that, because there was no reward. In anything in a game-like situation has to be reward. In any game, like for sports, the reward is winning, right? In business, strategical battle, winning is associated with that result. So, because it allows you to have more resources to invest more in things. And again, we're getting off topic. So back to focusing on one thing. So, this is like probably one of my most all over the place like YouTube video to date, because I know I've done this before. There's just, I mean, like, look, there's been a lot of things that I've been learning, like just from individuals talking to individuals. So there's like a lot to say. So this first video is obviously going to be all over the place. Promise these next videos, they're gonna be a little more dialed in, all right? Bear with me a little bit. So practical ways on how to improve this, right? So let's say you do have this issue of sticking on the one thing. Let's say even for myself, I know when I watch this, I'm gonna like, okay, cool, this is where I need to improve at, to focus on one overall aspect and core idea. I mean, one thing that's really great, just cut everything out that's not associated to goal, right? You have to at least like identify what the goal is, and anything that doesn't provide value or get you closer to getting that goal, making the goal go faster to get that thing, cut out. Very much more simpler said than done. A great example of this, and it's gonna sound like it's gonna sound like very, very obsessive, but try to track yourself in like when you're actually multitasking, right? For me, what I found is like, when I try to do multiple things, like let's say I'm eating, but I'm also like watching a video, right? So mentally, I'm trying to focus on chewing, swallowing, digesting, even though it's not something that I don't digest like mentally, like it's just something that's automated. But like at least picking out the food, putting it in your mouth, chewing, and swallowing, right? And then trying to learn, which is like keeping context of like, let's say a video or reading or something like that. That's multitasking, right? You have two tasks going on that your brain has to switch back and forth from which one to focus on to which the other one to focus on. And if you notice a lot of times, like you will not be able to like focus on the food and then like also keep up the video. It's like this back and forth switching. And that's how the brain multitasks. And when you catch yourself doing these things, you want to stop, pause, recognize that you're doing that thing, and then cut out one and then just stick to one thing. So like, let's say for me, when I started realizing myself doing that, I just stop, pause, okay, cool. Cut out like watching or trying to learn or trying to multitask and just eat. And then when I'm finished with this and task is complete, I can move on to something else. Now, you might think this is very, very like basic. What the fuck type of advice is this? This is, you know, simple. However, like you're programming your mind on how to attack a task, because the mind just sees tasks, right? It says eating, that's a task, learning, task. It doesn't see like, okay, cool, I can eat, listen to music, and like be on my phone, and then also like try to learn at the same time. Holy fuck, you're gonna be fucked if you try to do that shit first and foremost. but it's just task oriented. So if you just train your mind to be solely on one task at a time, right? If I'm eating, I'm eating. Once that is complete, I can move on to the next thing. And if you start doing that in at least like start auditing your life of that sort, for me at least, I've seen how that bleeds into like also actions in my business. Where, you know, I might be working on something and, you know, you have that shiny object syndrome, like, holy God, there's a sandwich over there. Like, I want a sandwich, I want to eat. You're like, no, hold on. Come back to this one thing, continue working. Once it's complete, then I can go eat, right? And most people don't have control over at least like their ability to focus on one task. And that's why first of all, it takes them so much longer to accomplish anything, whether it be building up their business and growing their clientele, whether it be improving product wise, or anything of that sort, right? Even like just, you know, just cutting out all the bullshit of like, oh, I want to start a t-shirt, I want to start all this. Cut it out. It's not helpful because it's just, you're programming yourself to like, again, do something half-assed, right? And you know, that's very like, mentally you're doing something at a mediocre level, not at like the full optimized level that like your focus can be put into something. And you're allowing yourself just to kind of like breeze through. Like you don't get anything great from that, honestly. And if you do get something all right, better than mediocre, I mean, how much better could it have been if you would just like focus on that one thing, right? If you're already talented enough to like multitask and get something somewhat okay, how much better can you make that damn thing if you just cut everything else out and just put all your focus on that one thing? So that's one way to do that, right? Second thing, if you like, again, like I said, monitor your mind in terms of like when you get drawn off from things. You're still gonna fuck up after you watch this video. And by the way too, I still fuck up all the time on this. As you can tell from this video, I've done it multiple times and I can see myself how that happens. What you should do is not just kind of like, most people, they'll go throughout their day and like not really plan, or they'll just kind of like whatever happens is gonna happen. They're gonna get drawn in whatever direction, and then they look at the end of the day and like, wait, why didn't I get anything done? Right? How was I not productive? Like, where'd the day go? A lot of times it's just because you get drawn down these different paths, whether it be like, hell, I mean, like you can even probably associate this with like, even if you're watching YouTube, right? You're probably supposed to be doing something right now, to be quite honest with you, right? You're probably supposed to be focused on working on a task, but for some reason you got sucked into YouTube and you're watching a couple of videos and all of a sudden you saw, oh shit, Deluxe went ahead, uploaded another video or a new video. I'm gonna go ahead and watch this. And then after this one, I'm gonna go ahead and start working on that whatever thing. Bad, very bad, right? You want to catch yourself in the middle of that distraction. Like, say you're on a path, you go off, you want to catch yourself somewhere down that swayed off path and stop yourself and be like, cool, how the fuck did I get here? Because without the how the fuck did I get here, you're just gonna wait, you're just gonna like look up and realize, holy fuck, I spent 5 hours on YouTube watching Deluxe's videos for no reason, which doesn't help you, right? I mean, thank you, I appreciate you for watching, but to get progress, that doesn't really help. I mean, maybe come in and get out, you know, get the information you need and get out and get back to work. Fabulous. 5 hours, probably not the best, and probably not what we need to be doing. And what you need to do is like at least track, okay, cool, how the fuck did I get here? Like, what were those steps that actually got me off the path? And most times what you'll notice is that it was never like, let's say for YouTube, it probably wasn't, I mean, you didn't just all of a sudden like look up and then you're on YouTube. Like, probably like there was a notification that went off on your phone and then you check that notification and then you just had an impulse all of a sudden, like, again, that sandwich, that little like thing. You went into like, you're like, oh, fuck YouTube. Okay, let me check this thing. Just need to check it, right? And then you're like, oh, fuck. Like, you can see how this like path goes down. And if you at least hack this damn thing, you can figure out what you need to take out of. Like for me, in the past 5 months, I've deleted my Instagram app off my phone. I've deleted YouTube actually off my phone as well too. And I'm almost thinking about deleting my calendar off my phone. Now, this is, and I've restricted like a lot of websites. I've restricted like Facebook, a lot of things from my phone, and simply just use it as a, right now it's just for music and maybe, well, now recording content. But what I find is like there will be like these notifications, and like if you have notifications on your phone, you're fucked. Also too, just turn off those damn things. They're gonna make you like a neurotic freak, honestly. You're gonna become like this lizard brain specimen that you're just gonna be like so reactive to everything. You're fucked. Once you like kind of like figure out like, or for myself, when I figured out like those were the things that were taking me away from work, just cut them out. Like if they're not there, I don't have to even have that urge to go into them. Like, honestly, like when I go into my phone right now, like I'll still find myself like go to my phone, look at it, like, oh, okay, what do I need? Like, what's gonna give me that dopamine rush? I go in there like, oh, nothing. Okay, I got nothing. Turn on the phone, get back to work. Whereas most people will like go and search for a dopamine rush. Okay, cool, I got this. And they're like, all right, after that, I'll go back to work. 5 hours later, they're fucked. They haven't done anything. So tracking all that and tracking at least where that you swayed off, really, at least important to keep note of. And honestly, too, like this can take a while to at least master, because there's always like a lot of things that will like sway you off the what you need to be doing. And like I said before, this is a forever self-auditing thing. Like, you're never gonna perfect the damn thing. There's always, like, for me right now, it's even my calendar. Always like check my calendar. Okay, cool. Is there a call coming up in like pretty soon? We're always, because like we're hardwired with that, with like notifications, with social media, all this stuff. And that's just not the best thing to like improve your damn business. If you really want, like, if you feel like you're like at least not growing at the rate that you want to be, and you keep getting swayed off or keep on losing a lot of time, or just you're taking like even things that you need to be doing, you are making some progress on, but they're taking longer than expected. More times than not, it's gonna be this damn thing, right? You can't just stay on one thing. You can't stay focused, or you're multitasking too much, right? So try to go ahead and at least only do one item or one activity every single day. That moves you closer. Really master that damn thing. Take it to its max thresholds. Keep an awareness of like where your attention goes off to and strays off to. And then also to always continue to be self-auditing, because without that, like, you're kind of fucked. So I know we spent like 31 minutes. This video's been taken plethora of routes. Should probably been done a lot sooner. It's a great example of that as well too. But yeah, so we're back on YouTube. We're gonna be uploading videos. I'm planning on doing for a little bit of time, doing a couple videos, maybe a video a week, and uploading that. So if this is your first time to the channel, welcome. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button. I do go through periods where I will upload a lot, and then I'll be ghost mode. You won't see me at all. But trust me, I'm just learning, and kind of come back and bring at least some more valuable information that I think can help everybody, in the barber industry, or even just service industry in general, to improve and get progress on their business on. So with that, y'all, let me know what you thought of in the comments. Let me know what you want to hear more of down below as well too. I will be checking all the comments. And then, other than that, I'll be seeing you guys on the next video.